They can biocode directed energy attacks that will only go and bioresonate with your body. So that three people can be standing right next to you and nobody's going to feel the harassment except you, because these signals are biocoded to your body's tuning only. Then they can send down V2K, they can send down any symptom they want, because they're in full control of the bioresonance of your bioenergy.
Roger Tolces is a Los Angeles private investigator who specializes in electronic countermeasures. In the past 30 years, he's swept over 2,500 locations for bugs and wiretaps. In recent years, his business has included helping victims of electronic harassment and mind control.
You coined the term electronic harassment. What is electronic harassment?
Okay, well, electronic harassment is when any person or perpetrator uses an electronic device or groups of electronic devices to either compromise your privacy or to use electronic weapons against you for harm or to control your situation. What's happening now is the black ops and the military and weapons development community want these weapons to be the weapons of choice in future wars. In other words, when we went into Iraq, as an example, they went in and did the shock and awe. So they blew up the cities, they blew up the bridges, they blew up the infrastructure, and of course then we had to come in after taking the country over and then spend all that money rebuilding their cities and bridges and everything. So what they've done is they've decided that what we want to do is have non-lethal weapons. Weapons that can be used against enemies that don't destroy physical things. In other words, not bombs, not bullets, not missiles, but some kind of electronic mind control devices, such that you can get mental control over enemies without blowing up infrastructure. So what's happened is these things were supposed to be developed towards enemies. They've decided that in most cases we're going to have to gain mind control over the general populations that are not warring with us. So what they've done is they put laws in place that allows the Department of Defense and the subcontractors to do mind control experiments on the general population in development of these weapons. So anybody who gets on the bad side of the government could end up being a lab guinea pig.
And how is that legal? Like, how can they use tax dollars for, that are going towards these things, and they use them to spy or harass others? How does that?
Title 50, Chapter 32, Section 1528. Check it out.
Is this getting worse, this problem? Are you getting more and more people coming to you as the months and years go by?
Well, I get between 6 and 10 calls a day from people, brand new calls a day from people that are suffering from electromagnetic attacks and other kinds of covert activity against themselves. And of course, I get emails from all over the world. Almost every country in the world has a similar problem going on. And so as long as you're within reach of satellites and other kinds of cell tower transmissions, you're within a keystroke of being harassed.
People who complain that they are being watched often say they are hearing voices. How are voices transmitted?
They're transmitted by a technology called biocoded directed energy. Mm-hmm. And that's a top secret thing that was developed. And what it is they get your DNA. In other words, they pick your garbage up in front of your house one day. And inside your garbage is your DNA. Most likely from the trash can in your bathroom that you dumped in your garbage. Once they have your DNA, they take the DNA and they put your DNA code in a supercomputer. And in that supercomputer, they run algorithms that biocode electromagnetic transmissions so they bioresonate with your body. Once they've done that, they can transmit that from satellites or cell towers or aircraft or any number of ways. And that signal will only affect you and nobody else. In other words, everybody standing next to you is not going to hear the content because their receiver is not tuned to that bioresonance.
There's a bioresonance to every individual, just like our fingerprint. Every person has an individual DNA, a different bioresonance. And so the original Stockland patent is on my website, where Stockland was able to go voice to skull with pulse transmissions in 92. And then after the rest of the development went black ops. We don't really know what happened after that. We knew we could put voices in group people's heads. What they did, and I know from the Russian translation from Cheryl Welch, from reading all her translated psychotronic stuff from Russia, that they figured out how to biocode these microwaves so that it can attack specific individuals.
They basically analyze your DNA, and they then use supercomputers to encode the signals. So just think of it this way. It's kind of like, let's say you have a cell phone and I have a cell phone, and they're the exact same model cell phone. Let's say it's, an LG cell phone, and you and I have the exact same ones, except your phone's programmed to your phone number and mine is programmed to my phone number. And as those cell phones sit there, they listen to the control channel of the nearest tower. And the control channel is sending out codes so that if somebody wants to call you and they ring your number, and that tower will then put out your phone number on the control channel. And once your cell phone sees that control channel number, it wakes up because it recognizes that that's the number that it's associated with, and it sends a signal back to the tower saying, "I'm over here. Send the call through." So it's the encoding that's coming off on a microwave link that causes different phones to come alive based on their coding. So the biocoded directed energy is the same thing, except instead of phones, we got human bodies.
What is the worst case that you've ever worked on where you saw this? What exactly was it like for this person?
Most people consider themselves to be in hell, especially the ones that are getting voices that are instructing them to do things. A lot of times, most of the times, the voices are just demeaning, and they're attempting to shut the person off from their normal life flow and their normal friends and family, that kind of thing. But then the really serious cases are where the voices are instructing them to do destructive things. It can just escalate into being worse.
What ways how do you block it? Like, say if you're in your house, how do you block that from coming in, the waves and stuff?
Yeah, we block it with an electrostatic active shield system that generates it's kind of like a jammer. Mm-hmm. It just blocks incoming electromagnetic fields so that, you're able to, once you're inside this particular device, you're able to stop it.
Are there a lot of people like you out there that can help others if they're having this issue?
No.
So if this is happening to them, what do you do? Like, where do you go?
Well,
who do you turn
to? We have a test protocol where people that are being electronically harassed, where the harassment travels with them, they come to us and we put them through a test protocol. And the test protocol has to do with scanning them to see if they have microchip implants. It has to do with using spectrum analyzers to analyze what kind of electromagnetic attacks are taking place. It has to do with putting them inside different kinds of shielding systems to see what blocks the problem that they're having. Mm-hmm. And so that's the way we handle it with that particular test protocol.
Do you do this all over the country, or do you have to be just in your area?
We do travel all over the country, but lately we have people come to us just because we're so overloaded.
We have a question from YouTube. They want to know if this is affordable to the everyday person.
Yeah, the shielding runs about $1,500.
Okay. What about the test protocol?
Test protocol takes 5 days and it runs about $2,500.
How long does this system take to set up? Like, when you get a case, what do you have to do from start to finish? How does this all work?
Well, you have to go put the individual through the test protocol to find out the nature of the problem. When we do test protocols, we interview the individual, find out what it is that's bothering them, and attempt to use our test equipment to find out what it is. So in some cases, it's that they're directly being harassed intentionally, and in other cases, they are in environments that are electromagnetically unhealthy, and they're suffering the symptoms of electrical hypersensitivity.
Now, you're an expert in this area. Have you ever been called as a witness in a court case on behalf of a TI?
Okay, the first thing you have to understand is that any TI that's ever taken a case against the government or the government subcontractors have had their case dismissed under national security. There's not been one single case that I know of that didn't get dismissed in that manner.
And that was the judge's ruling? This is a matter of national security?
Well, what happens is the agency that you're suing, let's say you're suing the CIA, you're suing the FBI, or some black ops agency, and or their subcontractors, and they will step in and tell the judge that it's a matter of national security and they need it dismissed, and they just rubber stamp that. They just dismiss it.